like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
The landscape of women's professional basketball has shifted dramatically overnight. What seemed like unstoppable momentum has suddenly hit a roadblock that threatens to derail everything the league has built this season. The domino effect of one player's absence demonstrates just how fragile the WNBA's newfound popularity really is. Caitlin Clark's quadriceps injury has created shockwaves throughout the basketball world. The announcement that she'll miss at least 2 weeks has triggered an unprecedented fan response, one that's got league executives scrambling behind closed doors. This isn't just about losing a player, it's about losing the engine that drives viewership, merchandise sales, and arena attendance.
Just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad injury. Could this injury have been prevented? Can the Indiana Fever win without her? And what does this mean for the WNBA?
The timing couldn't be worse. Just as the WNBA was experiencing record-breaking viewership and sold-out arenas, everything has come to a screeching halt. Teams that relocated games to larger venues are now staring at empty seats. The Chicago Sky, already struggling to fill their 9,000-seat venue, faces an even grimmer reality without the Clark draw. Fan reactions have been swift and decisive. Social media platforms are flooded with declarations of boycotts and viewing strikes. Supporters who once treated every Fever game like a must-see event are now declaring their temporary departure from the sport. The passionate fan base that Clark cultivated isn't just disappointed, they're staging a coordinated withdrawal from league engagement.
In the back, we know Caitlin Clark was lost yesterday to an injury for at least 2 weeks. Now, the thing about it is they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. And of course, man, these teams, I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked. Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000-something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent.
The injury itself, a strained left quadriceps, might seem minor in the grand scheme of professional sports. However, its impact extends far beyond the medical diagnosis. This 2-week minimum absence represents a critical test for both the Indiana Fever and the league as a whole. The reevaluation scheduled for June 9th offers hope, but no guarantees about Clark's return timeline. Indiana's roster now faces its biggest challenge of the season. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell must step into leadership roles they weren't necessarily prepared for. Coach Stephanie White finds herself completely restructuring game plans and rotations. The team that built its identity around Clark's playmaking and scoring ability must discover new ways to compete.
Oh my God, guys, breaking news. Caitlin Clark is hurt. I didn't believe it when I saw it myself. She's injured. She has a quad injury, a left quad injury. It's a quadriceps strain, and the team announced today, about 2 hours ago, she's going to be out 2 weeks at the minimum. 2 weeks. Without Caitlin Clark, this team is finished.
The broader implications for women's basketball are staggering. Before this setback, Clark wasn't just a rookie sensation, she had become the face of the entire league. Her influence transcended statistics and highlight reels. She brought celebrity endorsements, mainstream media coverage, and a level of excitement that the WNBA hadn't experienced in years. Television ratings had soared to unprecedented heights. Merchandise featuring Clark's name and number flew off shelves faster than retailers could restock. Arenas that typically struggled with attendance were suddenly experiencing the energy of championship games. The transformation was so complete that many observers wondered if this was finally the breakthrough moment for women's professional basketball.
It's the latter. It could mean that Caitlin Clark could potentially miss the rest of the season. This 2-week timetable that people are running with, that's just when Caitlin Clark is going to be reevaluated. As of now, she will be reevaluated on June 9th. That does not mean, and it's highly unlikely, that June 9th or shortly thereafter is when Caitlin Clark is cleared to return.
Now, with their primary attraction sidelined, the league faces a harsh reality check. Early reports suggest viewership has already begun to decline. Ticket sales for upcoming games show concerning trends. The economic impact extends beyond game attendance to merchandise, concessions, and broadcast revenue. The situation reveals uncomfortable truths about the WNBA's current state. Despite years of talented players delivering exceptional basketball, it took one rookie's arrival to generate mainstream attention. This dependence on a single player's star power exposes the league's marketing challenges and the fragility of its recent success.
There's no way every team's going to come at them and try to take them out, especially without Caitlin. They're going to lose some games here, and that's going to set them back. It's really hard to believe this, but yeah, she's out. There's no other details. When did this happen? Could have happened in this game. We're not sure. Most likely at a practice yesterday. She's out for 2 weeks, man.
Other players across the league continue performing at elite levels, but their achievements are overshadowed by Clark's absence. Breanna Stewart continues dominating for New York. Kalia Copper is showcasing brilliant play in Phoenix. Aja Wilson remains a consistent force, yet without Clark's magnetic presence, these performances struggle to capture widespread attention. The contrast is stark and telling. When Clark was active, every foul seemed to generate viral moments and heated debates. Her confrontations with opponents created storylines that extended far beyond basketball courts. The controversy and drama, while sometimes uncomfortable, drove engagement and kept the league in headlines.
WNBA news. Caitlin Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain, and our next question is, what does this mean for the Fever? So Cece is going to be missing the second Sky rematch since playing them the first weekend of the season, which is definitely a bummer, but on the bright side, this injury doesn't seem too bad. It's just some quad tightness. But fear not, Fever fans. We talked to Caitlin earlier this month, and she doesn't seem too worried about the depth of this roster.
So I think our depth is probably what I would worry about the most. You know, if somebody doesn't have it one night, you're just going to the next person on the bench and the next person. And, you know, we're going to have to be able to find a way to use that to the best of our ability.
Caitlin seems like she has faith in her team, but we will see how this squad performs on the court without their number one player.
Without these manufactured moments of tension, the discourse has quieted significantly. Games proceed more smoothly, but the passion and intensity that drove social media conversations have diminished. The league discovers that controversy, however unwelcome, serves as a powerful marketing tool. Angel Reese has emerged as a beneficiary of Clark's absence, seizing the spotlight with renewed focus. Her performances and post-game interviews have taken on added significance. The rivalry that captivated audiences now feels one-sided, but Reese continues building her brand through consistent play and compelling personality. The highly anticipated rematch between Chicago and Indiana loses much of its appeal without Clark's participation. Marketing campaigns built around this clash of personalities must be scrapped. What was expected to be a ratings bonanza becomes just another regular season game.
Just as I started talking about Caitlin Clark being in the MVP race, it is announced that she suffered a left quad injury and she is going to miss at least 2 weeks. And this is such a bummer because the Fever were off to a great start this season. Caitlin Clark was playing out of her mind. She had already broken some records in the first 3 games, and now she's going to be sidelined for 2 weeks. We'll see how the team will hold up without her. Obviously, she's the primary ball handler, playmaker, and shot maker. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can sustain and just hold even at 500 or better, and she can get back and keep them in playoff contention.
However, this crisis might ultimately strengthen the league. Forced to showcase depth beyond its biggest star, the WNBA has an opportunity to develop multiple storylines and promote other exceptional talents. Fans who discover the league's broader talent pool during Clark's absence might develop lasting appreciation for women's basketball. Teams like the Fever must prove their viability without their superstar. If Indiana can maintain competitiveness during this stretch, they'll emerge as a more complete organization. Other franchises have the chance to capture attention that would normally flow toward Clark's team. The injury also provides Clark with necessary rest after an intense transition from college to professional basketball. Her non-stop basketball schedule from the NCAA tournament directly into WNBA action may have contributed to this physical breakdown. The forced break could benefit her long-term health and performance.
Turns out she's human after all, Dan. She's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks, it appears.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Caitlin Clark? Remember last year, she played in the Final Four. Right after that, she went immediately to the WNBA. Draft came, season started, and, didn't miss a beat. And all of a sudden, she got a little rest and comes back, gets a little banged up.
When Clark returns, and all indications suggest she will, the anticipation will be enormous. Her comeback won't be just another player returning from injury. It will be a celebration, a renewal of the excitement that transformed the league. The narrative of overcoming adversity could make her story even more compelling. The current situation serves as a wake-up call for everyone involved in women's professional basketball.
Big news just released by the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark has suffered a quad injury, and she is going to be out for a minimum of 2 weeks. Really bad news for people going to games at home hoping to see Caitlin.
League officials, team owners, and the Players Association must recognize how quickly momentum can shift. Building sustainable success requires developing multiple stars and creating systems that don't depend entirely on one individual's presence. For now, the WNBA navigates uncharted territory.
The WNBA, there was nothing on the TV, so I said, why do I just support women? I'm a proud feminist anyways. It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. All I saw was straight bricks. But Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. That girl can hoop. I will.
We're seeing in real time the Angel Reese psychological meltdown as she's actually being forced to grasp the fact that the thing that she is best at in her life, which is basketball, Caitlin Clark is exponentially better at than she is.
The league that seemed destined for unprecedented growth faces its first major test of the Clark era. Whether this challenge leads to broader success or reveals fundamental weaknesses remains to be determined. The next few weeks will define more than just Indiana's playoff chances. They will determine whether the WNBA's recent surge represents genuine growth or simply reflects one player's extraordinary impact. The answer will shape the future of women's professional basketball for years to come. Clark's eventual return promises to be spectacular. Armed with rest, motivation, and perhaps some frustration about missed opportunities, she'll likely come back more determined than ever. The league that's learning to function without her will welcome back its biggest star with renewed appreciation for what she brings to women's basketball. Until then, the WNBA continues its experiment in post-Clark existence, hoping to prove that the foundation she helped build can survive temporary setbacks and emerge stronger than before.